Hey folks, I apologize. I was in the wrong group. That's what happens when you have too many Facebook groups. Let me get in here, write a few things, make sure everyone's on board here with my live. Oh man. All right, just give me a couple seconds to make sure everyone is in here and I'm in the right spot because I feel bad that I was leaving everyone out to dry. All right, I see a yay, so I know some people are here. I was trying to tag everyone that was in the other one. I'm still live in the other group now. I think there's a bit of a delay, but let's see. Oh, I see what you mean. Let me. All right, let me just fix all this up. Thanks, everyone. I apologize for the delay here. Let me turn off that. Turn off that live, and then we will get started. And I apologize for the people that were here from the beginning. We'll do a quick recap and get everyone going. We can figure it out, I'm sure. All right, so while everyone's waiting, I just got to make sure everyone knows where we are and it's all in the right place this time. There we go. Awesome. Got a bunch of people here. Yay. Hi. You're actually still live in the other group. Yay. Perfect. So for anyone, I apologize. I have, as a true squirrel, I have way too many things going on. So I was going live in an entrepreneur group that I run and not in the squirrel group. So these are my peeps. So whether you have this version or an older version, you don't have to have this in front of you at the moment. If you bought it recently and still haven't received it, it's okay. You can do everything we're going to do today on paper, with pen and paper if you have to. So don't worry about that, and we'll go through it. Now, let me just make sure. I tried to turn off my live in the other group. Let me see. There, that should have done it. I deleted everything now. Okay, so who else is here? Shelly. I got Renee, Jill, Nagina. Perfect. All right. So whether you're watching this live or replay, hashtag live, hashtag replay. Certainly you can, doing this as a replay is just as good as doing it live. Keep commenting if you can to interact there. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is really go, so one of the things is, so am I the only one here, or do other people also collect books and courses and downloads, like free guides, like collect them like baseball cards, but then not implement them? Like I have books out the wazoo. I could probably reach across this table and find a book that I've bought and haven't read. I bought it, I was excited about it, but then I got it and just haven't taken the time to read it. I'm not beating myself up over it, but it's just the reality of acquiring something, but then not taking the time to actually implement. So that's what this is all about today, is I created the Squirrel Journal because I know that when people implement these tips, when people implement these techniques of productivity, they will make a difference in their lives. It will make a difference in your life. But I hate the idea of people just buying it and not using it. So that's what I'm really all about. Nagina collects seminar notes and lots of books. Renee, OMG, yes, yeah. So that's to the are you a collector of content and not so much, oh yeah, webinars. Oh man, I'm a webinar. If I got paid to watch webinars, I'd be a millionaire. Yeah, so that's what this is all about. I collect watching so many webinars. Yeah, collect them, take notes, do all this stuff, but don't take action, right? And that's what this is all about, is taking action. So yeah, let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So this was born out of a presentation I gave last year, and right after I gave the presentation, I decided to make the journal, because live webinars, absolutely, just like this one, if you're live. Yeah, so a presentation I did a year ago for business owners in the town where I live, and it was called The Best Year Ever. And really, at the end of the day, it's the name of the presentation really should be, "It's never too late to have the best year ever." And so let's share the screen. Here we go. Shouldn't be live in the other group anymore, so hopefully it's okay. Cool. So there's my little head floating next to my thing. Perfect. All right. It's never too late to have the best year ever. So what I'm doing with the journal is, if you take, so one of the reasons it's 91 days is if you take the year and divide it into 4 chunks, you basically get 91 days. And I love that idea, because then it's very strategic to stay on top of things. Now, today we're going to talk about strategies, but we're also going to talk about being, because I've learned that it's not just about the structures, it's about what I believe about myself and what I believe about I'm capable of. And so we're going to go into both of those things today. A lot of people give me the feedback on the Squirrel Journal that's what they like about it, is not just doing things, but it's also being. So awesome. A lot of people live right now. This is great. This is really fantastic. I appreciate everyone here. So what we're going to cover today, and why we're here, is to take time to create more time. So for me, this journal is all about, it's a time machine. When I put time in to do my morning routines or my evening routines, it's like, if I take 10, 20 minutes to do those things, it spits out hours of productive time for me. And that's what we're going to cover today, is what are those support structures to put into place. And next thing is to have uncommon conversations about what it takes to be successful. Start 2020 with a bang. So I'm just going to change that, because you can rewatch this whenever you want. Let's say the next 90 days, live the next 90 days with a bang. Start today with some of your greatest opportunities for growth. So the Squirrel Journal, another reason it's 91 days is you start with an evening. We're going to talk about mindset and systems, and then what sort of, have everyone ready to have a support structure to keep them going after this. Love the way that you do the being pieces. It's really helped. Yeah, I appreciate that. It is, because I've learned that it's not just about doing and being. I did a podcast episode with Dr. J the other day. If anyone hasn't checked that out, it's really good. He talks all about belief changing our actions, which changes our results. It's really impressive. So I'm going to throw this up here. Take a sip while you read this. Oops. Well, infinite loop there. Good thing I have 3 monitors. Okay. I don't know who created this, but I love it. I need to figure out who did so I can give them credit for it. The difference between an entrepreneur and a wantrepreneur. So starting with eating before is key, absolutely. So entrepreneur versus wantrepreneur, I certainly look back at the notes I've taken in the past where I said, oh, I'm going to do a webinar. Oh, I'm going to write a book, which I did actually. All these things that I wanted to do. And when I look at old notes, like in my case, funnels, like I don't know if my account is, there's someone in the group that knows all about my funnel journey, where it's taken me like a year to create a website funnel that I'm finally using to grow my business. So it's the idea is the difference between having an idea and a year later or 91 days later still having the same idea and not having implemented. That's what I wanted to get people out of. I want to get people from idea to book or idea to course, whatever it is that you're up to, so that 91 days from now you can say that you've made excellent progress towards that goal, or you've completely completed that goal. So that's what I really want you to think about, is 91 days from today, saying, oh, I've done it. I did it. The last 91 days I was really powerful. The last 91 days I was really in action. So that's what today is all about. So a little bit about me. A lot of you know exactly who I am, but I'm a self-employed entrepreneur, so self-employed business owner. I don't have a boss to tell me what to do every day, which is amazing, but also very difficult. Some days I just wish I had someone to tell me what to do to move my business forward, because I try things and they don't work, and try some things and they do work. And so part of why I created the journal was exactly that. A couple years ago, started doing, I'll just go ahead to this slide. A couple years ago, I started doing a lot of personal development work. And so in the last couple of years, I've done, probably if you added it all up, it's hundreds of hours of personal development, thousands upon thousands of dollars for it, which is all really great. Like, I love that I did all that. And as I was doing it, I took some of the mindset tips I'd learned, some of the productivity tips I learned. I tried them out. If they worked, I kept them. If they didn't work, I got rid of them. And all the best of the best that I considered to be the best, I put into the Squirrel Journal, and through the Facebook groups, continue to share those. And I continue to interview entrepreneurs to find out what they're doing to achieve massive goals and massive things. And I put them into the book. So at the end of the day, some days I have amazing, powerful days. At the end of the day, I'm super proud of what I've accomplished. And other days I wake up at the end of the day and think, where the heck did the day go? Like, I had all these ideas of what I was going to accomplish, and I didn't get any of them done. And those days can turn into weeks and turn into months and turn into years. Like in my case, in my old job, I really kind of woke up at the end of years of doing a job that I hated, thinking, holy crap, what did I do? So those are the days where I feel like hiding my head in the sand. So really, this is all about having as many of those amazing days and amazing months as you can. And the ones that aren't amazing, they're not bad. They're part of the process. Like, it's part of life. But what are the things you can do to have as many of those as possible? So, and a quick disclaimer, if you're going to, big believer in all the tips that are in this book. If you're going to take any sort of leaps into anything that's going to have an impact on your finances, accounting, legal status, obviously consult any and every expert in those arenas that you need to, so that you know that you're making a good decision. All right, so about you, enough about me, let's talk about you. Cool. What is your favorite memory of the last 3 months? Like, what is something that happened in the last 3 months? So take a minute. I'm going to stop talking in a second, give you guys time. If you're watching replay, you just have to pause if you need to, obviously. Favorite memory of last 3 months, and then what would make the next 91 days a win for you? So looking back, and then also pretending you've moved forward, and reminiscing or reflecting on the 91 days that have just passed. All right. So giving everyone time, chime in when you get a chance, just to say what your favorite memory is or what would make the next 91 days a win for you. For me, the favorite memory of the last 3 months, it's kind of funny. I said one thing in an earlier recording, and now I'm just thinking of so many amazing things that happened. But I guess one of my favorite memories was, and I've had a little bit more time to think about it than you all have. So one of my favorite memories was that I went to visit my mom in Colorado. She lives in a very beautiful area of the world, and went stargazing with my kids and my wife and my sister and her husband and my mom, and we all went up there, and it was all dark and peaceful, and I got to look at, I looked into a telescope and I saw Saturn, and I'd never seen Saturn live to a telescope before, and it was the freakiest thing ever. And my mom, it's kind of funny, she said that the first time she saw Saturn, she was really freaked out. Like, it is a freaky thing. Like, if you ever have a chance to look through a really powerful telescope and actually see Saturn, it's like mind-boggling. Anyways, the evening was just like this cool evening. My daughter had like her favorite stuffed animal with her, and like we were all kind of wandering around looking at these different telescopes. And so it was just fun to be with my family in that unique setting. So that's my favorite memory the last 3 months. So we've got people. So start typing in your favorite memory of, what would make the next 91 days a win for you? And I'll read through some of these. So took my first trip to Europe. Amazing. That's awesome. That's got to be memorable. Favorite memory, being asked to be a speaker for the biggest WordPress conference. Awesome. And I know that's a big part of what you're up to. So that's got to be really cool. I love seeing your progress with that. What else do we got? Going to New York. Absolutely. I lived in New York for a couple years. My dad still lives there. I love New York. Every time of year, especially in the fall. Well, it's tough. It's It's an amazing place all year long. Cool. And what about the next 91 days? Like, what would make that a big win for you? So I'll throw up one more memory here while we're going. Favorite memory: meaningful and deep conversation with a new friend. Very cool. Yeah, and I love hearing these things, because really one of the things you can look into that is, where are your highest values? Like the memory that I ended up saying, like, my highest values are family, being out in nature. Those are all really top, and creating lasting memories. So those all three things rolled into mine. And then what would that make the next 91 days for you? So let's say we do this webinar again 91 days from today. What would have to have had happen for you to look back at the 91 days and say, this was a win? Like, I'm really, really happy about what I've accomplished. I'm going to give you guys a minute or two, and then I'll share mine. I love how it doesn't like my Canadian spelling of the word favorite. It's like, no. All right. So for me, the next 91 days, wow. So, okay, so for me, what I've been doing, if anyone's been following me in the last little bit, is that I have a whole lot going on my digital, my online footprint has expanded tremendously in the last year, and certainly in the last couple months, where I have 2 podcasts, I have a YouTube channel, I have an business Instagram account. Oh my gosh, what else do I have going on? Facebook groups, all that stuff. So really, for me, the next 91 days, I'm starting to see some results for those. They're all these things I've created really to help educate people about financial advice, which is my day job, which is my core business. And the next 91 days is all about being strategic with those, and being strategic, making the most of my time, not getting caught up in it, still seeing my business move forward. Like, that's the 91 days. And I'll get a little bit more specific. What would make the next 91 days a real win for me would be, what are we looking at? 3 months, 12 weeks. So, excuse me, I would say bringing on 12 new clients. 12 new ideal clients would be just a massive win for me in the next 12 weeks. So what do we got here? Next 91 days, I'm taking a course for learning to deeply connect with my heart, myself, etc. A win would be achieving this and seeing how it transforms my ability to be in flow and joy in relationship, work, stresses, health, my new city that I haven't connected with yet. Very cool. Yeah, so that's thanks for sharing that. Deeply connect with your heart, yourself, etc. Very nice. And being in a new city, new city that you haven't connected with yet. I know how that is to be in a new city. 91 days, keep on learning via job interviews and land a great role. Awesome. So landing a new job. And so for both of these, we can break it down into what it takes. So it sounds like you're already taking a course that's helping you with that. And I imagine that we can still do some work on what it's going to take. Next 91 days, also making at least one more sale. Nice. Because I think for you, sales are quite impactful. Like in my case, even if I had one great sale, I had a great sale this week, which is really good news. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I know what it's like. Okay, next 91 days goal: build my next website, either membership site or basis of my YouTube channel. Need to decide which yet. Open up for me. Membership site would allow me to continue my nonprofit activities online, and the YouTube channel site would allow me passive income. Cool. One quick thing is, for anyone who put down a goal, also think about what is that going to open up for you. So I thank you for doing that, Shelly. I'd mentioned it before. Like that goal that you're going to do. So for me, taking on those new clients, for me, it's taking on new clients would get me some income going, and I wouldn't have to worry as much about money. For anyone that knows, I've taken off basically a year and a half of my life to get my certified financial planner designation, and my business definitely took a hit during that. So that's what I'm all about now, is rebuilding my business, reconnecting with my mission of providing high quality financial advice to as many Canadians as possible. So to go back to this one, so open up for you. Membership site would allow me to continue my nonprofit activities online, and the YouTube channel site would allow me passive income. Absolutely. I'm fascinated. I have friends who have been able to grow YouTube channels, podcasts, and what else? Facebook groups. And it's really the consistency that wins out. Like, of anything. Yeah, high price, one sale is huge. Love that. Yeah, one sale. Always depends on the. I have teeny sales and I have big sales, so it just depends on what I'm up to. Cool. Awesome. So what we're going to do, like I said, is you don't have to have the Squirrel Journal in front of you, so you can use just paper. But first of all, we're going to talk about the mindset you're going to go into. So when I've done these strategy sessions with people live, like a big part of the journal is all about being and doing. So being a certain way and acting in a certain way, because the more that those can be in line, the easier it is to accomplish big things, to believe that you can achieve what you're up to, and to actually do the things it takes. So one of my favorite talks recently was a guy who's gets paid big bucks to go into corporations and tell them what they need to change. So they pay him all this money. He goes in and he all he brings to the meeting is a spray bottle, like the kind you spray like plants with, like the leaves to like get the leaves wet. So he walks in the room. I'll kind of look at him. He sits down with the spray bottle. He says, "No, keep going." And they were all doing a brainstorming session. So for anyone who's worked in a corporate atmosphere, I did for a couple of years, can probably relate to this. So people get started throwing out ideas, right? And they're brainstorming, which brainstorming sessions, I don't know, maybe Jill, you have some insight into this, but I think the way they're done traditionally doesn't work that well to begin with. But everyone's brainstorming, throwing out ideas, and someone throws out an idea, and then the CEO says, "Well, that's not going to work because," and before he can finish the sentence, the consultant takes out the spray bottle, sprays the guy, and says, "Bad kitty, bad kitty." So he's like stopping him back in. The guy's like shocked. He's like, "I'm a CEO. I've paid you to come here. Like, what's going on?" And basically what he was getting at was, we're brainstorming here. We're coming up with ideas. So don't stifle yourself in this process. He's like, just let it go. He's like, let it get out there. And then if you want to, after we've got it all out there, then take a look. And actually, one of my quotes that I didn't understand it the first time I heard it, but I'm going to throw it in there, is people attribute it to Hemingway. I'm a stickler for attributing it to the right person. I don't think anyone's been able to prove Hemingway did say it. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm about to say, but Hemingway supposedly said, write drunk, edit sober. First time someone told me that too, I was really confused because I don't drink at all. And I was like, well, that doesn't work for me. And I was like, oh, right, I get what you mean. What it means is, when you're writing, and this is true, like I do writing and stuff like that, when I just write without censoring myself, I create amazing things. If I censor myself every step of the way, the things that I create are less and less amazing. So that's the thing. Think of that bad kitty that's going to pop up as you start creating your what's your big next goal. The bad kitty part of your brain is going to pop up, is going to say you can't do that sort of a thing. But just like get out that spray bottle. And I have another 91 day goal. Working with a new trainer, being 91 days closer to being in the shape I was a year ago, stronger and healthier. Amazing. I am on a similar journey as well right now. I'm getting back into shape after a few setbacks. Cool. So when it comes to the mindset, what we're going to do is, if you have a sticky note, get out a sticky note. If you don't have a sticky note, that's okay. You can do it on a piece of pen and paper. So this is what we're going to do. I borrowed this from a couple professional development people I've seen. Maybe you've done this exercise before, but it's an amazing exercise. So I'm just going to use an index. Yeah, I don't have a sticky note available. I'm going to use an index card. Index card would work fine. Piece of paper, big enough to write a few lines on it. So what I want you to do is think about, so you've been able to share that big goal that you're thinking about right now, getting into shape, making a sale, getting your YouTube channel up, all those things. Now, as you picture that goal, what comes up for you from the point of view of your mind that says that you can't do it? So we're going to dwell on this for a minute because we have something that's going to help get rid of it. So sorry, I'm clicking around here, but I'm trying to create a new slide here. So as you think about achieving that goal, as you think about, we have a lot of great examples here, landing a perfect job, landing that great role, landing that job, making one more sale, getting that YouTube channel up, what else? Being in better shape. Yeah, in my case, getting new clients. Oh yeah, it's coming up for me already. Before I could even say the words getting 12 new clients, it like hit me really hard. Like what automatically pops up for me as to what's going to get in the way. So I'm going to give some examples in a second, but I want you to take some time to think about it. I'm going to complete this slide, and then we'll see. So like what comes up as, usually it comes up in the form of I'm not blank enough. I don't have enough blank. It's not possible because blank. Like think about all those blanks and start writing them down if you can. Start writing them down on the index card, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do with that index card. All right, see some examples coming in. The interesting thing is it almost always comes down to the same thing. So I'm going to just start writing mine as I say it out loud, and you'll get some real insight into my inner negative voice. So what my inner voice says is, wow, yeah, okay, this is going to get good. You don't have enough. So when I think of the specific goal of getting 12 more clients, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough resources. I don't know enough people. Yeah, I see some coming in. Good. I'll read them in a second. Don't know enough people. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a good enough advisor. People don't trust me enough. Another thing, so think about this when it comes to the goals here. Getting in shape is blank. Making one big sale is blank. Making a YouTube channel is blank. What are those things that pop up for you? Like getting 12 new clients, for me, what comes up for me is hard. Like that's the language I'm using around that. It's hard. It's getting clients is slow. That's another thing, right? That's what's coming up for me. So slow, hard, people don't trust me enough. I'm not a good enough advisor. I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough people, time, resources. I'll do like one more. I'm just bad luck. I don't know where that one's coming from. I have bad luck. I just like thought of that out of the blue. Okay, cool. So this is what my card looks like. It's got quite a few things on it, and these are all just negative things. What do we got here? Membership site. I don't know how to make pretty websites yet. YouTube channel. I don't know how to edit videos yet. I like the yet. You're already like throwing it in there to be like yet. That's nice. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, you don't know how to make pretty websites yet. You don't know how to edit videos yet. Don't know how to. Yeah, cool. What else? What else do people have that's in the way? I mean, so at the end of the day, a lot of these are time-based or resource-based or ability-based. So that's usually what comes up for people is, I don't have enough time, I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough of X. I don't have enough stuff, or I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't know enough of the right people. Like there's usually things like that pop up. And so I'll give a minute for everyone to come in with a few more. I see some good ones coming in. We got some big ones coming in. The sale. No time, no energy, too much other work. I'm not, wow, okay, I'm not smart enough, engaging enough, my marketing message isn't right, and I'm not connected enough with them to know what it is. Heart course. The instructor is going to ignore me in the group. I won't have the time, energy, health spoons. I won't get it. I'm a lost cause. Wow. Thank you. That is good for you for going deep into that. I'm a lost cause. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And the reason I do this is because like those things are there. If you listen to the podcast episode I did with Catherine Ducey, she is a mindset coach for high performance athletes. And she talks about the fact that we all have something like 60,000 negative thoughts a day. And she talks about whether you ignore them, embrace them, like she's like, you have different approaches for them. And I learned a lot from her. If you ever have a chance to check out that interview, it's really good. Okay, we got too much. Okay, so about getting the new job, too much gap between last job and now, not articulate enough. No one will want to hire me. I'm too old. I have no value. People will overlook me. Wow. All right, you guys are definitely willing to go deep on this voice and all the nasty things this voice is saying. Wow. Okay. So not articulate enough. No one will want to hire me. I'm too old. I have no value. People will overlook me. Okay. So if any more pop in after I do the exercise, that's okay. I'll go ahead and do it. So you're not going to throw this away, but you are going to do something to it. So is at the end of the day, like, this isn't true. Like, but if we say it's true, it's going to be true. So I'll give you an example. Like, I've basically been on a weight loss journey for a very long time. I used to be very thin. I didn't have to really try to lose weight. And then I moved to Canada and I met a guy named Tim Hortons. And I'm just kidding. So if anyone doesn't know what Tim Hortons is, it's a place in Canada that sells ridiculously sugary coffee, if you get it that way, which I do. Double doubles, Timbits, donuts, the French vanilla. Haven't had one of those. All lies. Choose sugar or not. Love it. So I moved here. I gained all this weight, and it's been like really difficult for me to lose it. Now, a year ago, I lost 15 pounds relatively quickly, and I've maintained it, and then I've lost another I lost 15. Anyways, what I realized was as I was losing it, what it was the biggest thing that I'd done differently was I believed I was going to lose it. I just sat there saying, as I went for a jog, it's like, okay, I can see it happening. I can see it happening. And I was visualizing what the before and after picture I would take. I'd already taken the before picture, but I was visualizing the after picture I was going to take. And I was losing weight. And it's not that I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do to lose the weight. I was taking care of myself. I was drinking more water. I was not eating as much junk food. All those were great things. But that my actions were being affected by my beliefs. My belief was it was going to work. And it was very different from when my belief says it's not going to work. When my belief says it's not going to work, it just doesn't. So, and Facebook, yeah. So all lies, choose to agree or not. Love that. Still got some goals coming in. Build my Facebook group. Awesome. So we're gonna just take that piece of paper. You're not gonna throw it away, but you are gonna crumple it like down, like crush it down. Don't throw it away. Don't tear it up, but crush it. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to hold it like super tight in your fist. So all these negative things, like in my case, it was that I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources to hold it tight. Like squeeze it as hard as you possibly can. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough time. I don't know enough of the right people. Selling is hard. I'm not a good advisor. All those negative things. Hold on to them. Keep holding. Squeeze it tighter if you can. Like squeeze it tighter. All the things we said. I'm too old. I have no value. I'm a lost cause. I'm not strong enough. Here, I missed this one. I don't have enough energy. I fell out of the habit, and it took a while to form the habit the first time. Oh man, yeah. I'm not strong enough. I don't know if I can do it again. I don't feel like doing the hard work right now. Yeah, so I don't feel like it. Keep squeezing harder if you can. I fell out of the habit, and it took a while to form the habit the first time. That's so true. Like once you have that habit, and it's just like second nature, and you're powerful, you lose it, and it's like, oh, I can't get it back. Well, you got it once before. Okay, so squeeze tight. We've only got a couple more seconds of squeezing. Squeeze it as tight as humanly possible. This is like really hard to squeeze. Okay, now let go. And here's what's happening to my hand. It's like, and the reason we're letting go is that hurts. Is it hurting anyone else? Like it's hurting me to let go. My hand actually hurts right now. The reason why, it's kind of like these things that you believe, they're a comfort blanket. It's easier to say to yourself, I can't, than to try and fail. It's easier for me to say, it's not going to work. It's easier for me to say, It's too hard. It's easier for me. Oh, my hand still hurts. And they're like a blanket, because at the end of the day, it's not my fault I didn't get those sales, because it's hard to sell. That's what I'm saying to myself. And so the reason it hurts is it hurts to let go of these things, because they help me stay in my comfort zone. They help us be okay with the smallness that we're creating in our lives. But it is actually painful to let go of them. Now here's the thing. How is that? Is anyone's hands hurting like mine is right now? Yeah, because as negative as we perceive these thoughts to be, they're also comforting at the same time. They're also protecting us. The reason we have such negative thoughts about ourselves is because humans are hardwired to survive. And the opposite of survival historically, like when we were cavemen, was to try something different, to try something new, or to do something that might exclude us. That's why humans, one of the biggest fears humans have is to be excluded, is because back when we were cavemen, being excluded meant to die, because we didn't have that support structure that was absolutely necessary. Yep. So people are saying yes. Yep. So I assume that's the hand hurting. Yeah. So all right. So we're not going to throw this away. Some people like to do that, but I don't believe in that. So here's the thing. We've crushed it. So now it's time to let go of those things. It's time to let go of those beliefs. It's time to rewrite those beliefs, because if you rewrite those beliefs, you will get the results having rewritten them. But I want you to keep it, and I want you to, if you did it on a sticky note, stick it on the front of your journal. So here's my journal that's in motion right now. I didn't do it on a sticky note, but I'm going to use it as a bookmark. So I can look at that every day. And I don't want to, the reason I want to look at it is not because I want to dwell on it. It's because those things are going to come back. Like, it's not like we're going to walk out of here and I'm going to call someone to be a client. They're going to say no. It's not like I'm magically going to change my tune just because I crushed this piece of paper, but it's going to remind me of the false beliefs I have around what I'm capable of. And then we're also going to create some affirmations to help combat those false beliefs every day. So how'd that go for everyone? Everyone like see how that can help just to like really confront those false beliefs? It's kind of like facing the dragon. You're wearing the armor and you're facing that dragon and just slaying it. So I'm a big believer in that. And I'm really grateful for everyone sharing. I'm really impressed by people sharing these things, because it's not easy. It's not easy to take that swim in the dark water of our mind when it's not all positive. So I do appreciate you for doing that. So we've gone through that. Now we're going to talk about reframing those beliefs. We're going to talk about getting up to your big things. So we've dumped those things. Like, now that those things are out of the way, we've got our spray bottle to spray our bad kitty side of our brain. We've dumped those false beliefs. Now let's step into what we're capable of. So this is one of my favorite parts. I love this quote. I actually do know who to attribute it to. All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dreams with open eyes to make it possible. So I love this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. So that's what we're going to do right now is we're going to dream in the day, and we're going to come up with, we're going to brainstorm. So for anyone who doesn't have a specific goal, and I really encourage you to like brainstorm, even if you already have that goal, really think about the other things that you're up to in life that you want to accomplish in general, like not just necessarily in the next 91 days, but just in general. And if you have the Squirrel Journal, there's a page specifically for this. If you don't have the journal in front of you, that's okay. It's page, well, let me find it in the newer version. This page looks like this. So brainstorm. So brainstorm, what you're up to in your life. Now I'm going to set a timer. Okay. So obviously if you're watching it on replay, it's just, you can pause it. I'm going to set a timer, and it's going to seem like a really long time. It's going to set a 20-minute timer. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to brainstorm. I'm going to set a 20-minute timer and just go nuts brainstorming. And a bit of a preface to it, and it says it on the page. If you start feeling overwhelmed, like, don't worry, because that happens like every time I've done this. Someone has felt overwhelmed. Sometimes it's been me, because I start thinking about all the things I want to do in this life, all the things that I want to accomplish, and I start getting overwhelmed. Don't worry. Like, we're going to figure out how to get you out of that overwhelm. We're going to figure out how you're going to get focus in, hone in on what's really important. So right now, it's just drop those false beliefs, brainstorm, throw in the kitchen. Like, so one of my friends is an author, and he says that when he writes, it's like the brainstorming is like throwing in the kitchen sink, because everyone says everything but the kitchen sink, but you throw in the kitchen sink and then the dishes that are in the sink, and then you fill the sink with water. He's like, just do it all, and then later you'll be able to reflect on it. So I'm going to put up, man, my hand still hurts. I'm going to put up a timer, a 20-minute countdown timer, and you're going to brainstorm. If you have any questions, pop them in there. I'm still around to answer any questions. So countdown timer, my trusty friend Google. How do I change it? 20, 0. Start, maximize. Love it. Cool. 20 minutes. Brainstorm if you're feeling overwhelmed. It's okay. Yeah. So any questions, put them down there so I can take a look at them. And cool. I'll stop talking. All right, just a couple minutes left. Awesome. Can't see anyone, but I assume everyone's working hard. Still got a lot of people on the live. It's okay if you're starting to run out of ideas, and it's okay if you still have a ton of ideas. It's all good. All right, perfect. So, how'd that go for everyone? I'm going to try to clear up this timer. Oh yeah, I got to minimize it. There we go. So how'd that go for everyone? Anyone feel overwhelmed? Anyone feel like they needed more time? It was plenty of time. I know that the first time I did this, it was live, a room full of business owners, and I had handed out these like thick Sharpies and giant pieces of paper for people to map everything out. And I remember the guy next to me just like took off like a shot with his brainstorming. Best ideas came at the end. Nice. Oh man, I'm glad to hear that, because that's why it's 20 minutes, because most people don't force themselves. Like it, I mean, it's fine if you felt like it was long, but a lot of times I feel like that's the truth. So yeah, so this friend of mine, he was like out the gate, like running with, and share some of the ideas with me, like share some of the goals, because the next step is going to be pick the top 3 and then the top 1 for the next 91 days, and to see if anything new came of that. I'd be really interested to see if anyone either changed their idea of what they should do, or just expanded upon it, or clarified it, like throw all that in there. But my buddy, when he was, he's next to me, is writing with like this loud, big Sharpie on this big piece of paper. And I remember looking over at him and being like, what's wrong with me? Like, how come this dude is like taking off like with all these ideas? Because I'm usually like this idea like machine, like this person that's always got ideas. And it was like bumming me out. And so I had to go to another room, and I actually recommended at the end of the day that everyone went. We were in this place that had all these different rooms. So I went upstairs to this room that had like a couch and like nice like lighting and everything. And that actually helped me a ton, because it was like, it put me in the right frame of mind to just start brainstorming. And I also find that I get some of my best ideas while I'm running. You know how people joke about getting your best ideas in the shower? I don't get my best ideas in the shower, but I get my best ideas when I'm running or biking or swimming, and I forget them. Like, I will literally have the best idea in the world, and like if I don't write it down, like 10 minutes later, I don't remember it at all. And anyway, so I got a waterproof notebook, and waterproof pencil to write notes while I shower. Not shower, after I swim. Okay, cool. One question here. Top 3 goals for the year. Yeah, so this is a really good question. So, all right, so I'm going to read what people are saying. Actually, I'll say what we're going to do, and then I'll read what people said. So, the top 3 goals are like the top 3 that just jump out at you, like of all the things that you wrote. What are the top 3 that just jump out as these are the big things you want to get done? You're just going to pick one. You're just going to pick one for the next 91 days. But what are the top 3 that just kept popping out? Like when I do this exercise, I feel like the top 3 just keep coming up. Like, but then usually of those 3, there's one that just is really the one that just keeps rising to the top as like the ultimate thing that I need to get done. So best ideas came at the end. Love it. That is the reason for setting the timer and sticking to it. It can feel like a really long time, but I think that happens a lot to people. And then 20 minutes allows so many layers of to-dos to come up that I had quit thinking about, that I didn't realize I had suppressed. Yeah, awesome. So I love the shocked face. Yeah, 20 minutes allows so many layers of to-dos, for sure. It's a long time. So, all right. So, look at the page full of brainstorming ideas and pick the top 3, and then focus on the one that you want to do in the next 91 days. So I'm actually here. I have my page of the journal that's the brainstorming page, and it actually doesn't have a whole lot of stuff on it from the time that I did it, but it's the stuff that I really wanted to accomplish: lose weight, do 4 triathlons, make a certain amount of money, be cash positive each month, get 100 doctor clients. Like, this is just big goals, and then I had to break it down into specifics. Start a podcast on entrepreneurs and faith, and a podcast for doctors. So I did start the podcast for doctors, which ended up being way easier than 91 days. And then the top goal for me was the new doctor clients, like the number of new clients, because that would solve a lot of the other things I wanted. Like, I know that if I get a certain number of clients, then I'm going to make a certain amount of money, then I'm going to be cash positive. Like, there were all these things that were intertwined. So let me just take a minute to kind of really make sure I'm explaining that well. I came up with all these things. So some were in the arena of health, some were in the arena of wealth, and some were in the arena of relationships. The wealth ones were all intertwined in the sense that I had an income goal, I had a goal of how many clients to bring on, and I had a goal of being cash positive every month. So all those are intertwined, and so I looked at which one of those things is going to make all the other ones happen. Like, what's the one big thing? And in my case, it's bringing on the clients. If I bring on, I knew that if I brought on 10 new doctor clients, then I would hit all those other goals. Now it's to break it down into the actions it's going to take to hit those goals. So feel free to throw it out there. Like, did everyone stick with the same goal? Did anyone come up with a new one? Did anyone you know, yeah, just let me know what those were, and I'll keep scrolling through, but we can definitely hop back to it. So pick that goal. So pick your top 3, then pick the one, and then what are the top tasks to hit your goal, and then who can you get on your team. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this. So if you have your journal, there is a page that talks about the tasks for your goal. So it looks a little bit like this. It's a list of things you need to do to hit your goals. So in my example, it was to call my old clients and ask for referrals. It was to finish my funnel for doctors. It was to start my doctor podcast, which I did. It was to use the Dream 100 technique with doctors, which I started. So it's all the things to break down to what's going to help me get those clients. So I started a podcast for financial advice for Canadian doctors. I got 1 new client from that. By finishing my funnel now, when I give talks to doctors, it's going to have a place for them to go. So it's like the things that you can do to work towards that goal. Now, there's also the who, like who can help you reach those goals. So there's certain things in here that I did myself that I could have easily delegated to someone else to help me out with them. So in my example, my wife is a tech genius. She helped me create the cover for my podcast, which would have taken me a really long time to do on my own, and it wouldn't have been that great. You know, I've heard some things in here of people, build my Facebook group, launch my YouTube channel. You know, who is it out there that can help you do that? Either physically helping you, or who can you go out there and learn from that's going to help you build that. So that's the important thing. So take a piece of paper if you don't have your journal and write down those top tasks that you need to do to hit that goal. So whatever your goal is, write it down. Write down the tasks you're going to need to do to hit them, and then we'll go into the next thing. So I'm going to give you guys like a couple minutes to write down those tasks, and the next step after that is to map out your first week. The first week, which of those are you going to get done in your first week of the journaling? Awesome. So throw some more out there. I see a couple coming in. So if anyone has any goals that they want to help with, be sure to throw them down there. All right, perfect. All right, so you had a chance to get out those tasks. Okay. Next step. And who can you get on your team? Man, I cannot emphasize that enough, where I have learned that I achieve, oh my gosh, my results are expanded infinitely when I have other people helping me. Okay. Step 4. Actually, let me move this slide. That's in the wrong place. Cool. Okay. Waiting until you are ready is the same as expecting it not to happen. Mel Robbins. Got any Mel Robbins fans in the house? Like, I think she's got a new show now. A show. I love 5 Second Rule that she wrote. Highly recommend it. It's a book all about doing the things that are tough to do by counting down from 5. So that's the Coles Notes, or what's it in America? Cliff's Notes. For Americans, Coles Notes is a Canadian thing, like Cliff's Notes, Coles Notes. Anyways, her book is all about people who have transformed their lives by doing that difficult thing, counting down from 5, like they're going to launch a rocket ship. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do the thing. It's an amazing mind hack. So waiting until you're ready is the same as expecting it not to happen. Mel Robbins. So step 4, how do you need to show up? Affirmation and visualization on the next slide. So this is where you can get a ton of feedback here from affirmation. So if you've got a copy of the journal, you know that every day begins with affirmation of who you are and who you're being. And so if anyone needs help coming up with those. So for example, I'll just give some examples of the big ones that I know occur for people and talk a little bit about how to use it. So the note card, like for a lot of people, it was probably a lack of time, a lack of resources, a lack of connections, a lack of ability. And so you just take one and you create an affirmation out of it. And I remember when I started doing this, it was really difficult. So I'm happy to help people with this. But I'll use the example of the time. So saying I don't have enough time, and I have a video, trying to think, I think it's in the main group, the affirmation creation. We'll just go through an example. If anyone wants an example, has an example, happy to help. But I'll use an example that I've had. All right, text box. All right. So the negative belief, or the false belief, is I don't have enough time. So every morning, to combat that false belief, I say I create all the time necessary to make my dreams come true. So that's the first step, is to read in the morning. Sorry, this is the false belief. This is the, so just to quickly talk about, like if I walk around saying I don't have time or I don't have enough time, it'll come true. Like, and it probably feels that way a lot of times. You don't have time, and certainly I feel that way. But if I change my language to affirmation, I create all the time necessary to make my dreams come true. Then I start doing it, and people might know, like a lot of us have been in the same personal development course, collect the evidence at the end of the day. So tonight, when I go to collect my evidence, I'm going to think, I went for a workout. I went for a jog today. Like I had enough time to do that. I had the time to drop my kids off at school. Because if you don't look for the evidence of it, you're also not going to find it naturally. Like that is true, that the affirmation is true. So you can create that for everything. False belief, I don't have enough time. Affirmation, I create all the time necessary to make my dreams come true. I don't have enough money. Money is abundant. I can access all the resources I need to make my projects come true. And you, one of the big things about affirmations is some people say, well, I don't really believe it as I'm saying it. So you do have to, sometimes you have to power through that. Because if you say it enough, you'll believe it. And if you collect evidence of it, then you'll start finding more evidence for it. And you'll see that you're actually making it happen, which is pretty amazing. So if you've got the journal, I do a whole section on affirmations, and I have a video in the Facebook group around affirmations, how to create them. And so here on the page, it says affirmations of the morning. And then in the evening, there's 3 lines. So if you do 3 affirmations, there's 3 lines, one for each coming true. So you look at something that happened in the day to show that you are indeed doing those things. Now, so what we're going to do is we've got that. Anyone needs any help with the affirmations? Totally. Let's talk about one real quick. This is the most recent fear that I'm not sure how to flip. There is too much time between my last job to now. Will look negatively. Okay. So, all right, cool. So you're saying that you haven't had a job for a while. You're applying for jobs, and you feel like it's been too long between the two, and it's going to look bad. Like people are going to say, well, why didn't you work for so long? Yeah. So that's definitely like you can answer this or not, but I am like, is it you going into situations having that belief is probably creating an outcome. Like, if you believe that, or if you think it looks bad, then you're probably, as you're going to interview, they're sensing that, right? So how do you flip that? And this is less of an affirmation about belief, but perception, which is fine. So instead of saying I had too much time between jobs, what about I had enough time to refresh and renew, or I had enough time that I used that. So think about the ways that you did use that time to your advantage. This gave me time to, whether it's read books or, yeah. So you're saying, yeah, definitely go into those situations and it probably shows. Yeah. So what have you done with that time that's a positive thing and you can be really proud of? Like, be proud of the fact that you were able to take all that time off. Be proud of the fact that you were able to have that. And I'll just give an example. I hope this is helpful. But so I'm a financial advisor and I didn't grow up in the town where I live. And I thought that that was a huge disadvantage for me because a lot of people, when they start jobs like this, they go after friends, family, people they went to school with, people they've worked with, all these people that they've known. And I remember thinking, this is a real big disadvantage for me. And I went, so one of my biggest clients, I was referred, his accountant said, you should talk to Galen. He talked to me. He did a lot of stuff, business with me. And one day he said to me, he said, Galen, one of the reasons I chose you as my financial advisor is because you're not from here. And I remember thinking, what? And he's like, yeah, you're not from here. He's like, so I know, like, you're not from here. You don't have a famous last name. Like I joke, small town Ontario famous. I know that your family doesn't owe any favors around town. You're not going to tell people what I'm up to. You're not going to share my private information with other people, which does happen, which is kind of crazy. He's like, yeah, my accountant doesn't live in this town. My lawyer doesn't live in this town. You're the only advisor I have that actually lives in the same town as me because you're not from here. And I remember after that being like, it opened up a whole new world for me. Now I lead in part with that because I also realized a lot of my clients aren't from here either. A lot of my clients are doctors who either aren't from here or moved away for a long time and moved back. And so he helped me do it. I didn't do it on my own, but he helped me flip that negative into a positive. So now when I say it, I think of it as a positive. Like, yeah, I'm not from here. Isn't that amazing? Like, isn't that good news that I'm not from here? Like, people really like that about me. So anyways, I hope that's helpful. Creating the affirmations, here's another one. So create the affirmations. Gratitude. Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for. And I heard a quote the other day. I'm actually going to see if I can figure out who said it so I can attribute it to them. It was, gratitude makes what we already have enough. So I'm going to look it up. See if I can find it. If not, no biggie. It turns what we have into enough. Melody Beatty. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. I'll just copy it here. Haha. Wow, this is cool. I didn't know who to attribute it to. I'm going to create a new slide here and just pop it in there so everyone can see it. It doesn't have a fancy graphic along with it. I'll have to work on that. Sorry. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Wow. How have I not known this quote? Holy smokes. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is the evening. So we're going to go through it really quickly so you guys can be set up powerfully to finish today strong. You're going to take all this, you're going to put it into the structure of the evening journal, and then tomorrow. So this is going to be like lightning fast. Get all this done so that you can finish today powerfully and start tomorrow powerfully. So in the evening, boss hat on and pick 4. So this is one thing that I have people do every day. Every night you're going to put your boss hat on and you are going to decide what you need to do tomorrow to do the task. Sorry, what are the tasks you need to do tomorrow to move your business forward? And the reason I say boss hat is that when you're self-employed, as I know a lot of you are, or when you're working on a side hustle, you don't have someone telling you what to do every day. You don't have a boss to tell you what to do. So one of the ways around that is at night you put on your boss hat and you say, and you're the boss and the employee. So you put on your boss hat and you say, what do I need to do tomorrow? What does my employee need to do tomorrow to move my business forward? And it has to fit 2 criteria. The 4 things that you decide you're going to do. 1, you have to, it has to move the business forward. It has to be meaningful. And 2, you cannot care whether the employee wants to do it or not. Like my first job was Starbucks, and I had to do a lot of stuff I didn't want to do. My boss did not care because if I didn't do it, then I just didn't have a job. Where I'm self-employed, if I don't do it, I also don't have a job. But when I do it and get the results, I get to keep the results rather than give a whole bunch to a company or an employer or so on. So put on the boss hat, pick the 4 things. And what you're going to do is you're going to write the 4 things in the tomorrow section. So daily tracker of the tomorrow, you're going to write those 4 things you need to do, and you're going to put them into your calendar as to when you're going to do them. Okay, that's step 1. So pick the 4 things of that list that you need to do tomorrow to move your business or your side hustle or whatever you're on forward, and write them in tomorrow's section and put them in your calendar. Figure out when you're going to do them. As far as time frame goes, I would say minimum half hour, maximum 50 minutes. You'd be amazed at how much you can get done in 4 concentrated half hour to 50-minute chunks of your day. Like absolutely. So those are the first 2. Put on your boss hat and pick 4. Schedule your day for tomorrow. And then I've left 6 blanks for people to do different things they want to do. Like I do, I keep track of whether I drink water before every meal. I pray. I check in with my accountability partner, like all those things. Add what you want there, but make sure you get those 3 things done every day. And I'm going to show you a really cool advanced pro tip. Is there's an app called Multi-Timer. So the Multi-Timer app is amazing. So what I do with the Multi-Timer app is I create 4 different events the night before, and you can title them. So in my case, you can see lead magnet, lead magnet, lead magnet, client stuff. And what I do is I set each one for the amount of time I'm going to spend on each one. So I like to work in 50-minute chunks with 10-minute breaks in between. So I set a timer and I hit go. And what I've learned is I will work a lot harder when I have a countdown. It tricks your brain in the Pomodoro technique. So if anyone isn't familiar with it, it's called the Pomodoro technique. The technique is you set a timer and you when you start your activity and you go through it, and then when you're done, you give yourself a break. You give yourself your reward. You reward yourself with a 10 to 15-minute break, and then you hop at it again. And during that break, you can do whatever you want, and it's amazing. I love it. Like I've earned the right to like goof off for 10 minutes straight, which can be cat videos, it can be games on my phone, it can be whatever the heck I want. Like it's really amazing. And then when I'm done, I go back to work. So that's what you're gonna do is you put the 4. If you want to do the app, I love the app. It works really well. Or you put it into your next day planner, and then you're gonna time yourself when you do it. Okay. Next, things to celebrate from today. So this is the gratitude part. Grateful for what's happened to you that day. This is just such a key thing. That's why it's towards the top. Is what are the things I was able to do? So I went for a run. That's a theme. That was one of my old days. Let me see what I put in a more recent day. Gratitude. Playing with my kids. Reconnecting with my friends at school. All those things. So if you have gratitude for what's happened during the day, it really changes your mindset. I saw a post recently that talked about how gratitude actually rewires our brains, because a lot of what our brain is designed to do is to look for the negative, because it's a survival instinct from caveman days of keeping an ear out for the saber-toothed tiger that's going to eat me. And in the modern world, we don't have saber-toothed tigers after us, at least in the world I live in. But my brain is still looking for what can go wrong. It's still looking for fears. So the next thing is the challenges faced today, not to dwell on them, but to put them in. Like, what was challenging today? What did I find challenging? What was the impact of the challenges? So for example, I didn't set aside time for real business advancing activities. Yeah. So in the days where I don't schedule my day in advance, a lot of times I wake up and I just don't know what I'm doing. And I kind of wake up at the end of the day and just say, holy cow, how did I lose the whole day? And then what I'll do better tomorrow. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, here's one thing I'm going to say. You do this for like a month straight, you're probably going to look at, you need to do the same things better tomorrow. And it's okay to keep putting it there. Like there's nothing bad with like having similar challenges time after time. Like I certainly have similar challenges every day. Then the evidence of affirmations, like I said, you do the affirmations, you say them, and then look for evidence at night of them coming true. So I create all the time necessary to make all my dreams come true. I am an intelligent person. I am a driven business person. I am a, what's another one that I do? I'm a loving father, driven businessman. What else do I put? I'm an athlete. Those are the things I say, and then look for evidence. So, for example, I worked out. I put that a lot. I managed to go to the movies. Wow, that was a good day. And then you visualize tomorrow with your employer hat on. This is really important. Not just visualize like the steps of what's going to happen, but visualize how you're going to feel. So, and for example, for me, I'm up early. I've got great ideas for collaboration and then massive advances with my funnel building. I'm going to get started on my 14-day challenge, and I'm going to get my certified financial planner sorted out. I'm going to feel accomplished at the end of the day. So it's a big part of feeling how you're going to feel at the end of the day, and then living into that. Like I'm going to feel accomplished at the end of the day. I'm going to feel excited. And it's actually, I mean, this is a technique that as athletes do, right? Athletes, professional athletes, they visualize how things are going to go. If it's, there was racers, car drivers, I think were some of the first ones to do this. They visualized how it would go. And when you've drawn those pathways in your brain, you're more likely to live into them when you wake up tomorrow and do it. So let me know if you have any questions. Employer hat, I love it. It really helps me pick better tasks. Employer-employee hat, that is like one of the biggest hacks I've ever learned in this game. Let me know if you have any questions around affirmations. Let me know if you have any questions around the evening routines. Be sure to let me know so I can clarify anything for you. And then the morning, I'm going to go through it really quick, and then I'm going to go to accountability, and then I'll just take any final questions we have. So that's the evening for you. Everything. Oh, and then the last one. Sorry, the last one is bold requests. So what are the 2 bold requests you can make of somebody? This is very difficult for me. I'm very much a lone wolf kind of a person a lot of times. I don't like asking people for help. I like to prove to the world I can do everything myself, but it slows me down immensely. So the bold requests are, what are the things I can ask of people that are going to move my business forward that I'm a little bit scared of doing? And it can be something simple, like ask for help designing a poster, ask for help promoting an event, like ask for help, ask for feedback. I mean, it could be anything that's a little bit out of your comfort zone that you want to do. And you make 2 bold requests a day for 91 days and your life is going to change, like absolutely. Okay. So once you've done that, tomorrow you get up, and I've put the 3 that are every day. Hold on, I can't help but read this. I usually find bold requests for others, but once in a while it's bold requests of myself. I like that. Yeah, I like how I love how a few people using the Squirrel Journal have kind of turned it on its head for me. Like a lot of the goals are goals of being more than doing, which I'm perfectly cool with. That's awesome. Yeah, bold request of yourself. Today I boldly requested. So I was asked to join a board, a local board, and I'm really working on saying no to things that are going to overwhelm me, because I like to say yes to please everyone. And I said no, and I just said no, I can't do this. Like I've already started dropping off things that are just taking up time. I'm trying to get my business back on track. I just can't take on this other thing. So it was a bit of a bold request to myself to say, like, Galen, don't take on this other thing. You're going to regret it. So morning rituals, the 3 that are there are crossing off yesterday in the tracker, putting the employee hat on, and completing the page. Then I add things like running, reading, meditating, praying. Journaling is a part of it, but it's built into the journal. What I was going to say was, so if you don't have the Squirrel Journal, if you do have it, cross the days off. We're going to do something. People have asked me, do I cross off every day in the journal, even if it's not a work day or even if it's not a day that's going towards my goal? I'm going to say 91 days, so 4 times a year, 91 days at a time, you can do a journal. And I'm going to go ahead and say cross out every day, even on the weekend. And you're like, Galen, so here's the thing. If you're an entrepreneur, maybe weekends don't mean a whole lot to you to begin with. But what I've learned is if I skip a weekend of the morning and the evening and tracking my goals and saying my affirmations, I find that Monday is much harder to get back into because I haven't done it for 2 days. Getting up early, for example. At one point in time, I got up at 5:30, 5:20 every day for 91 days, even on the weekend. And I got so used to it. Like earlier today, someone said that was their negative feeling was I had the habit once, I've lost it, I can't get it back. So that's what I'm going to say. Like, this is my bold request of all y'all is over the next, and I'm going to do it too, over the next 91 days, cross off every single day, even the weekends, and do at least morning and evening. And what I find is when I still do it on a weekend, my goals just change. Like maybe I'm not going to be able to sit down for 4. I mean, I have 2 small kids. My wife and I like to go out on the weekends, all that stuff. We all like to go out. So I still have goals, but it's more of a, maybe reading a specific book, or maybe going live in my Facebook group, or maybe like it changes. The nature of what I'm up to changes, but I can still find 4 things I can do on a Saturday or a Sunday that Saturday or Sunday that's going to move me forward. Yeah. So I remember you asking me this question. That was one of my questions. It's made a lot of sense to me to be crossing off every day. 91 days is the total goal. Absolutely. Because it creates the habit, and it just, like, I remember, so part of the things that I used to always cross it off, and then I stopped for a bit, but the reason I'm doing it again, the reason I stopped was I felt like it was a bit of a waste to have like an empty page. But what I've learned is when I cross off every day, I only skip a day here and there. Like I almost always do the days, but when I don't cross it off, it's like, oh, well, like I didn't cross it off, I shouldn't do it. So anyways, 91 days, bold request of myself and of you is cross off every single day, even a weekend or even a day when you're traveling. But really find those 4 things you can do to move your business forward, even if they don't take 45 minutes each, even if they don't take 50 minutes, an hour. Like, what are those things? So I've done like reading a book, like I said, going live, texting someone, having a conversation with someone, like just those things that can still happen to move your business and your plans forward. Now, I'm going to wrap up the morning here. Put your goal here in 70. So cross off your things, and then if you add your own, which might be working out, it might be reading, it might be doing all those things. So someone said planned rest and relaxation are vital to my continued effort. Otherwise, planned rest and relaxation are vital to my continued effort. Otherwise, I'll procrastinate to get it anyways. Weekend evenings are important times for not business. I love that. So this is totally something that could be as you're crossing off a weekend, and this might be different from what you're saying, but I've certainly done this where I plan my breaks as a way to refresh my brain on a weekend. Like, what am I going to do to help my business? I'm going to chill and I'm going to read a book that has nothing to do with my business, or I'm going to go to the movies with my family, or I'm like, that can still be like a legit, reset. And I find that when I'm intentional about it, it actually turns it into something very powerful for me. So I love it. And you'll procrastinate to get it anyways. Yeah, if I don't give myself a break, I'm going to procrastinate. I didn't give myself a half-hour break. Well, what I did instead was I goofed off for half an hour, but it didn't feel like a break because I wasn't counting it. So love it. In 75 days, so write your goal here, or sorry, this is 75. So I mean, in the early days, it'll be in 91 days, or in 90 days, I will. So in my case, I will have 12 new clients. In 91 days, I will have 12 new clients, and every day you'll see it coming down, and you'll cross it off. And if anyone hasn't noticed, the squirrel at the bottom of the page gets closer to the nut every day that you go through the journal until the end, in case anyone's never, oh, here he is. He's got it here on the last day. Love it here. On the last day, the congratulations day. He's got it. Okay, let me get back to my morning. So last affirmations and then gratitude. So the reason it says actual and future is I recommend people start with actual things that they're grateful for right now that they already have. Like I usually talk about my health, my home, my friends, and then the future, what you'll be grateful for, what you're grateful for already that's going to happen. I'm grateful for my 12 clients. I'm grateful for my steady income. I'm grateful that I made those phone calls. I'm grateful that I went live. Like feeling that gratitude for something that's already achieved. The reason I do actual and future is I find it easier to be grateful for something that hasn't happened yet. It's kind of tricking my brain if I start with stuff that, if I start with things that I already can be really, really grateful for right now. and then move to things that I will be grateful for in the future. It helps me kind of ramp it up. You had me at squirrel. Love, he's getting closer to the nut. Yeah, not everyone knows about the squirrel getting closer to the nut. Okay. Visualization. That's visualizing the day. Again, I'm making the phone calls. I'm sending the letters. I'm holding a seminar. I'm loving bringing in new clients. Bold request checks is you've written down the bold requests for the day and you check them off when you complete them. Morning journal is what you're up to, really, it's sort of the visualization, but also the morning journal can be like, what are you thinking about? What are you feeling for that day? I usually write things like I'm up early and rocking it. I'm ready to go. I'm so happy that, I've got another day to get what I want done. And then the task names, you write down the names, you keep track of how long you did them and then how long your breaks were. It's important to track the time and the breaks because you do need to take some breaks in there to keep it, to reward yourself as you go through your goals. Cool. We got a couple more slides here and then we're good to go. One of the important ones is accountability structure. So if you have any questions around the morning or the evenings, if you've taken a look at them, let me know. I shouldn't leave out the fact that at the end of every 7-day, so at the end of the 7 days, there's I talk about the dip. A lot of people get really excited about a journal and do it for a week or two and then drop it off. I've certainly done that a lot of times. I have a lot of empty journals out there. And then after that, there's a recap of what you did that week, what you were able to accomplish, and then planning the following week. What's the next one? And each of them has a name that a squirrel can be on board with, like scoot, scamper, scurry, all that stuff, which is just little squirrel-related humor there. Okay, accountability structure, like I said, for me, it's events. If I want to learn something or create something, I schedule an event where I'm going to teach it to someone else. I don't want to look like an idiot. So I have created all sorts of, I don't know how many presentations on my hard drive because I forced myself to do it. Going live on Facebook is a very similar thing. Some people, I know people like my wife, if she puts it in her calendar, she's going to get it done. I'm amazed because I will just bulldoze my calendar. If I don't want to do it or if I don't have the time for it. Accountability buddy. You can always put the group, if you need accountability, you can put it in the group. Just say, hey, put what you need help with and see who can help you out. See how people can help you out with accountability. So a structure that works well for me, although my accountability buddy might not agree sometimes, it does work. I think it's probably my best setup is checking in with someone every day that I've done my evening routines and my morning routines, or my morning routines, and what my 4 big things are for tomorrow and whether I did them or not at the end of the day. And I think one of the really important things about an accountability buddy is that there's no judgment. It's not like you're in trouble if you didn't do it, but there's a level of, I said I'm going to do this, and if I didn't end up doing it, I've broken my word to myself and this other person. So if there's someone in your life that's also up to big things and you think they'd be willing to do a quick check-in every morning and every evening, reach out to them and you'll be amazed at what you find. So I'm just going to do a recap of everything. Mel Robbins again, the best. There is no right time. There is only right now. So first off, I want to thank everyone for having joined me for this. This is amazing. I still see this great number of people that are, excuse me, I've been through the whole thing. My voice is starting to go a little bit. I need a lozenge or something. I'm not used to talking this much nonstop. I really, really acknowledge you for writing down in the comments there what you're up to. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see, put in the group what you're up to, put in the group how things go a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 91 days from now. I just love seeing people accomplishing big things in the group. So guide step 7, get into action. Tips for success, accountability. Pick someone right now. If a buddy is the way that you're going to go for it. Pick that person. Really cool today. Thanks for walking this through live. Absolutely. I'm just all about implementation. I love the idea of people buying my journal, and I really love the idea of people implementing it and really getting what they want out of life. So pick someone right now. 2 concrete things you'll measure every day. Daily tracker. Use the journal. When I gave this, all I had was a binder. I didn't have a journal. See how far I've come in less than a year. Employer, employee. Pick those 4 tasks. Focus. Follow one course of action until success. Excuse me. Actually, fun fact, I created this Squirrel Journal group the day I gave this talk. And I remember I used to obsess over creating groups. Like it would take me forever to start a group. And I was like, oh, I need to post a whole bunch of stuff in it before I let people know about it. I created the group that day. And some of you in here came to that session. Like it was just under a year ago. That's amazing. What I was going to say was focus. So a lot of times people say, well, I've picked a goal. I'm going to jump ship on my goal. I'm going to try something else. I say, do not do it. See that goal, like work really hard at figuring out if it's the right goal for you for the 91 days and finish it. Because I have completed goals that I doubted, and it taught me so much about what I needed to do as the next goal. That's why I keep track of that brainstorming and those top 3 goals, because I can look back at those and be like, what was that goal that I never got around to? Is it still important, or is it dropped off the list, or is it dropped down the list? Like there's some things even today when I look back, I thought, oh, there's that thing I didn't get around to doing, those podcast episodes with entrepreneurs that are faith-based. Like I really wanted to do something about that a couple months ago, and I kind of let it drop. And now I'm like, okay, do I still want to do that or not? I'm focusing more on the doctor podcast. So I'll have to really see if that's something I pick up again. I probably will. And then the last thing, so I'm going to leave you with this. Identify your warning signs. So the canary in the mine, this is something that I only share like every once in a while because it's just so sweet. Canary in the coal mine. So has anyone ever heard about the canary in the mine? I think historically they actually used to use rats as well, but that's less like whimsical than a canary. So in the old days, miners, when they were mining, they would sometimes tap into gas, like noxious gas that would cause health issues that humans could not detect. So they would take a canary down into the mine. And if the canary passed out, because the canary is more sensitive than humans, the canary would pass out and they would know they had to get the heck out of the mine. I think the canaries usually survived. I'd like to think that. Or the rats, as history may actually tell the truth, that it wasn't always a sexy canary. Sometimes it was a rat. Yeah, I should say glamorous canary because sexy canary sounds weird. Anyways, the canary in the coal mine. These are the things that start happening in life that indicate to you that you're out of action. So for me, it's sleeping in. As much as I love sleeping in every once in a while, I know that if I'm not setting an alarm, it's a bad sign because it means, and so this is just for me. Like, I'm not saying this is everyone. For me, the months of my life when I wake up at 5:20 and get into action right out the gates, they are usually quite amazing. When I sleep in till 7:30, usually it means that I'm out of action. So identify what it is in your life and just be really honest about what they are. For me, it's also not checking in with my accountability buddy. That's another sign of inaction. And so if you take a minute to think about what those warning signs are, identify them. When they happen, acknowledge them. Say, I'm in a dip right now. It's okay. This is what I can do about it. Identify those warning signs now so that when they happen, you're a little bit more prepared for them than otherwise. So I'm going to wrap it up. Let me know if you have any questions. Get in the group. If you have any questions there. If this has been valuable for you, feel free to leave a review of the Squirrel Journal. Recommend it to friends. I'm really big on seeing people accomplish huge things in life. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I really appreciate everyone joining me today. This has been an amazing hour and change. And it's the first time I've ever done this, so I'm really excited that I pulled it off and people can use it. So take care. I will see all of you soon, I am sure. And I can't wait to hear. Let me stop my screen here. See if I pop back. Cool. I really appreciate everyone. I really appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any, let me see your successes. Let me see your wins. Share them with the group. And we will be in touch. Take care, everyone. I'm going to leave it for a minute or two because the comments are delayed. And I want to make sure I acknowledge everyone's comments coming in. So take care.